So if you're in the digital marketing or creative world, you're hearing about it constantly, right? AI, personalization, the nonstop pressure to deliver these amazing experiences. But where do you actually learn how to do all that stuff? Well, for a lot of people, the answer is Adobe Summit. And that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to break down exactly what it is and why it just might be the key to your whole strategy for 2026.
I mean, this is the central challenge, isn't it? AI is just rewriting all the rules. The pressure on you and your team to create more content, to personalize every single interaction, and to drive real growth, it's just immense. So how do you actually keep up and, get ahead of the curve? Finding the answer to that question is pretty much the entire reason events like Summit exist in the first place. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to quickly cover what Summit is, what it's like to actually be there in Vegas versus joining online, how you can get signed up, and, this is the big one, what kinds of ideas you can expect to walk away with.
Right. I mean, answering that huge question about growth, it isn't just about buying a bunch of new AI tools, It's about building a real strategy, fostering some innovation, and actually learning how to use these super powerful new technologies effectively. That's the real challenge. And that, of course, brings us right to Adobe Summit. Now, it's always pitched as the premier conference for digital experiences. But, okay, let's get past the marketing jargon for a second. What is it really?
Okay, so at its core, Summit is basically the annual get-together for people who are trying to solve these exact problems. We're talking leaders in marketing, creativity, and AI, all coming together. And the key is, they're not just there to talk theory, they're there to figure out the real, practical applications that are going to define the next year.
And this is what that actually looks like in practice. It's not just a bunch of abstract keynotes. You're going to be hearing from massive brands, think Coca-Cola, JP Morgan Chase, about their real-world strategies. You get to see Adobe's brand new tech, and this part is absolutely key, you can actually get your hands on it in the labs. It's all about that intersection of learning and doing.
Okay, so let's dive into the main event, the full in-person experience down in Las Vegas. It's happening from April 19th to the 22nd, 2026. Okay, just look at this number for a second. Over 200 sessions. The scale is just incredible. And we're not talking about generic high-level talks here. You're diving into super specific topics, everything from deep dive analytics to completely rethinking your entire content creation process, your whole content supply chain, in a world that's now powered by AI. And they really structure the whole thing like a journey. So you start with that big picture inspiration from the main keynotes. Then you get to the sneak session, which, by the way, is always super popular. It's a first look at Adobe's wild experimental tech that isn't even released yet. From there, you go deep in the hands-on labs, and then the whole thing is capped off with massive networking events like the welcome reception and the Summit Bash.
And look, being there in person comes with some really serious perks. For one, you can take Adobe Digital Experience certification exams for free. I mean, that alone can be worth hundreds of dollars right there. You also get that crucial one-on-one time with product experts in the community pavilion, and you can even sign up for intensive full-day pre-conference training if you want to go extra deep on a specific topic.
You can look at a session list online, but you just can't quantify the energy of actually being in the room. This quote from a past attendee really nails it. A lot of times, the biggest breakthroughs come from those random conversations you have in the hallway with someone from a totally different company who's wrestling with the exact same problem you are.
But hey, let's be real. Not everyone can get to Las Vegas. So what about the online experience? Well, the good news is Adobe has built a pretty robust virtual option as well.
And here is probably the most important detail about that. The online version of Summit is completely free to attend. That's right, free. This opens up all the biggest announcements and a whole slate of sessions to a global audience. No plane ticket required.
So, okay, this really breaks down the choice for you. The in-person experience in Vegas is like the all-access pass. You get every keynote, every session, the hands-on labs, the networking parties, the whole shebang. Now, the free online experience is perfect for getting the big picture. You can live stream the main keynotes and that awesome sneak session, and you'll get access to a selection of the other sessions, which you can watch on demand after the event. Okay, so you've seen what it's all about and the different ways you can attend. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the practical details. How do you actually sign up, and what's it going to cost?
All right, here are the key dates you're going to want to circle on your calendar. The big one to pay attention to right now is February 13th. That is the deadline to lock in the advanced pricing and save yourself $300. The conference itself, both online and in person, kicks off in mid-April. And here's the number that goes with that big deadline. The advanced price for a full conference pass is $1,995. But remember, that's only until February 13th. After that date, the price goes up.
So this table lays out all the pricing tiers really clearly, and you can see exactly how that price increases over time. But here's a really key detail I want you to see. Check out that group discount. If you register as a team of 3 or more people before that February 13th deadline, you save an extra $200 per person. And, that can really add up fast.
Now look, Adobe totally gets that getting approval for a conference pass that's almost $2,000 can be a challenge. So they've actually created a pre-written make the case letter that you can just download. It's a super handy tool designed to help you explain the ROI of attending to your manager and frame it as a really smart investment for the whole company.
All right, so we've covered the what, the where, and the how. But let's bring this all home with the most important question of all, right? Why should you invest your team's time and, more importantly, your budget in this? What is the real takeaway?
I think this quote from a past attendee really gets to the heart of it. It's not just about passively soaking up information. It's about leaving feeling armed and inspired, having both the motivation and the practical tools to go back and actually solve the challenges that are waiting for you back at the office.
And ultimately, that's what this all comes down to. The world of marketing, creativity, and AI is changing faster than ever before. Summit is positioned as the one place you can go to get the map for the road ahead.